This is the Chronicles podcast. This is the Chronicles podcast, where we inspire, nurture, and amplify kingdom voices in the media.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 10th episode of the Chronicles podcast. To our returning listeners, we say thank you for always tuning in. And if you're new here, we say welcome. You're definitely going to love it here. I remain Debbie, your host, and with me here today is my amazing co-host, Tolu Wanye.
Hello, everyone. It is good to be here again.
Yeah. Well, we've been walking through our acronym media.
That's right. And we said M is for message, E is for engagement, D is for distribution.
And today we are on the first letter, I for influence. Well, let's start very simple. So when we talk about influence, what comes to mind? What do you think about? So when we say influence, it's the ability to shape our thinking, to shape our decisions, to shape culture, and even to shape our directions.
And the funny thing is, whether we like it or not, media is discipling people every single day.
Yeah.
Talk about Instagram. It's able to influence your identity. So you come across a reel on Instagram and then boom, oh, I want to be like this person.
Yeah.
Even music. Many times when some of us are sad or we just want to connect with God, we just listen to a sound or something and then it influences our emotions, and sometimes even influences our spirit being.
Yeah.
News influences our worldview. So it is what you hear on news that you're like, okay, this is what's going on. So basically just to teach us that media is discipling people every single day.
So the real question actually is not, is media influencing people?
Rather, the question is, who is influencing whom?
That's a very big question. Jesus was saying in the book of Matthew chapter 5, where he was talking about we are the salt of the earth. He said, you are the light of the world. I mean, we need to notice the fact that he did not say, try to become the salt.
Yeah, he said, you are. That is, it is your identity. And we know something about salt. Salt influences by contact. So you know that salt has been added to something.
Yeah.
Because it has touched that thing.
Of course.
And then light influences by presence. So when everywhere is dark and you turn on a flashlight, you know that light is here because it is here.
So what this is basically telling us is the fact that as believers, influence is not something that is optional for us.
Yeah.
I mean, it is identity. We need to understand the fact that your feed is a lampstand. Your story is a lampstand. Your podcast is salt.
Period.
And your platform is a mission field.
And the funny thing is that if we continue to hide our light in this digital age, darkness will not hesitate to fill you up.
I tell you. And the scripture was saying in the book of Romans chapter 12 verse 2 that it was saying how that we should not be conformed to this world, but we should be transformed by the renewing of our mind. So media constantly tries to conform people.
Yeah, and it just teaches us that as believers, it is our responsibility to dare to be different. We find ourselves in a world where we normalize compromise. Oh, I don't want to be too loud. I don't want to be different. We redefine truth. We glorify self. And we even make sin look casual.
I tell you.
Because you just want to fit in. But the Bible does not tell you to fit in. It tells you you're a city set upon the hill that cannot be hidden. So if you're a believer and you're fitting into the world, then you are not doing the right thing because you were not made to fit in, you were made to stand out. And if the church is silent in media spaces, culture will disciple people instead. And I think that's one thing we should not allow as believers.
Yeah. And influence actually means that we need to stop being passive.
Yeah.
We need to stop being passive consumers. You just consume content. That it should stop. And we need to start becoming very intentional creators. Right? If we want to change, we need to be the change.
Yeah, be the change.
So and I love how Acts 17 said, Paul walked into the 18th and a city filled with idols with so many philosophies, and the guy was exceptional.
Yeah. Instead of withdrawing, instead of trying to fit among,
instead of condemning.
Yeah. He engages with them. He studies their culture, even quotes their poets as he's preaching the gospel to them. He tries to connect the gospel to their reality. So he's just giving, to catch a monkey, you have to be a monkey.
Yeah.
And there's a balance to it. We're not saying that as believers, you're supposed to compromise your stand because you want to preach the gospel.
Yeah.
But we're saying as believers that these platforms that have been made available by the world, we are supposed to use it to expatiate the gospel, to preach the gospel. Because the Bible tells us that we are in the world, but we are not of the world.
Yes. And we see that what Paul did, that exactly is media influence. I mean, he didn't compromise the truth. He communicated it in a language that the people could understand.
Yeah.
Right? He made it in a way that they can relate to it.
Yeah, actually.
So that's what exactly we are called to do today with our podcast, with our stories, with our reels, and even with the digital media. That is exactly what we are called to do. Not to go with what the world is doing, but to be different. We need to dare to be different.
Yeah. And it's not just limited to your podcast story. As far as even your writing, like how you are writing, are you writing to glorify God, or you're writing because, I don't know, people engage more with this type of content? So we've been talking about the world space, the general world view, and then let's bring this home. Let's bring it closer to home. We've seen sermon clips go viral and even with millions of people.
Exactly. And we've seen how that a lot of people are giving their lives to Christ on the live stream. Yeah. And we have prayer rooms on Instagram, Bible studies on YouTube, and we have a lot of things going on the media, right? But let's also talk about the fact that in the last 15 years, culture has shifted dramatically.
Yeah.
I mean, ideas are now being debated. We have things that usually are not normalized.
True.
But now it feels like the normal. It feels like it is normal in today's age. I mean, and we are just asking ourselves why, how.
Influence.
And we see how that movies influence, music influence, and
even streaming.
Exactly. A lot of, I mean, if we look at it, right, there were things that you did not believe before. I mean, did you really believe them? But by the reason of probably watching a movie, listening to a song, watching some reels, very little by little, you just find yourself falling into the belief that, I think this thing is right.
It's okay.
It's not wrong. I think
it's not that deep.
Yeah,
it's calm. And there's really a theory for it too. There's a media theory for it. It's called the parasocial interaction theory, which explains that constant prolonged exposure to a particular content helps the audience develop a psychological bond with the host, and anything the host says is true. So it just teaches us that even there's psychology backing up the fact that media influences people. And the funny thing is that media does not wait for permission before it influences.
Yeah.
It also adds, you just find out that if you constantly, like when you're with a friend and maybe your friend is somebody that laughs a lot, any small thing laugh. If you are constantly with that person, you notice that any small thing you start to laugh. And that's the same thing with media. That it doesn't ask for permission. It just it just occupies space, and then it just takes over your whole life. And then the Bible tells us in Psalm 139 verse 14 that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, which means that as believers, we're supposed to reinforce our identity. And the thing is that the media does not do that for us.
So we saw how that Daniel influenced Babylon. I mean, it was not because of a viral moment, but because of the integrity.
Yeah.
I mean, online influence must match offline character.
Yeah. Preach it.
I mean, you shouldn't be posting something and then your character is contrary to what you are posting.
Thank you.
I think we need to bring a balance to this.
Yeah. And the thing is that the church loses integrity when there is inconsistency. Because if a pastor is saying, you are believers, you're supposed to live like this, and then the life of the pastor is opposite, that's the reason why many people run away from the church. So as believers, we are supposed to be what we preach. We don't preach a different thing and then act a different way.
So in today's world, we need to understand that attention is currency.
Yeah.
Visibility is power.
Period.
And narrative is control.
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't sell our story, someone else will tell it for us. And if we are not careful, right, if we don't creatively model biblical truth, culture will model something else attractively. And I mean, attractively, it is going to attract that people cannot even differentiate the truth
between the false.
Yeah.
True. Actually. So basically, the whole summary is that the media is not the enemy. It is a mission field. So as believers, we are supposed to see the media as a channel with which we preach the gospel, with which we spread the gospel. So the book of James chapter 3 teaches us that teachers are judged more strictly. So which means that as believers, everything that we do, the way with which we engage the medium or media is, we should understand that we are going to be judged strictly.
Yeah.
And everything you do should point to Christ.
You know, I think we've mentioned this in one of our not last episode, but one of our previous episodes, how that your media, it is your pulpit.
Yeah.
So I think we need to take it very sacred. You not just take it with levity. It is something that is very sacred, and we need to treat it as such. So we have come to the end of today's episode. If you are not going to take anything away from this episode, we need to understand the fact that as believers, influence is not optional
At all.
Last week, our takeaway was that
Not every media is your medium.
and this week, what I want us to take away is that always ask yourself this question, right? Are you the one being influenced or are you the one influencing?
Yeah.
So I think we should ponder on this and we'll see you in our next episode.
And if this episode blessed you,
Yeah.
share it because influence multiplies.
Yeah.
Share it.
Preach it. Yeah, don't hesitate to share it to your friends. Send it to people you think will need it.
And subscribe.
Yes, thank you. That's very important. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. See you in our next episode.
Bye.
This is the Chronicles podcast, where we inspire, nurture, and amplify kingdom voices in the media.